Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we are taking the PMDG B737-600 WestJet service from LaGuardia over to Toronto. Today's flight will take us about 1 hour and 15 minutes, something like that. And yeah, it's a relatively short flight, but probably one of the longer flights that WestJet does or has done with this airplane. I would have to double check that honestly. So yeah, I decided to get the 600 just for the cuteness, you know, and simply because also I'm trying to fly the CSS Classics, but that thing just has so many issues. I already did some recordings with it. I'm thinking about publishing a video where the flight is not a complete flight, but where you just see all the kinds of issues that happen. We'll see, but I don't think that's really productive. So we'll see. Anyways, yeah, this airplane, we already did the preliminary items, so we checked all the quantities, made sure the airplane is in a good technical state, things like that. Fueling is also already complete. We're pretty much ready for boarding, except we want to time it a little bit nicer. So we're going to start with the pre-flight procedures, or the CDO pre-flight procedures, and then once we're done with that, I believe we should be golden to start our boarding, as well as some of the other pre-flight items that we need to do. So without further ado, let's go and get started. Aircraft type, nav database up to date, everything's checked here. The Guardia, we are at 58, I believe it was, or 18 or something like that. 58. Not in database, what? I did it last time, and now it wasn't database. Interesting that it's not this time. Okay. LaGuardia, sure, we'll insert that there, and we'll do a flight plan request. Select the route. Wonderful. Departure, runway 31, no SID, and arrival ILS 06 right. The Ling 3 WOZI transition, and that's where it ends. Looks good. Go ahead and request boarding now.
Boarding requested.
We're gonna make sure that all the doors are open because GSX doesn't seem to do it properly. Except for cargo. It opens cargo, but it doesn't open the actual entries, unfortunately. So flight level 400. (305) 103. With minus 59, 18,000 feet is checked. Zero fuel weight, we're expecting 49.1. Reserve 2.1. A cost index of 50. Execute. Legs page, route data, wind request. Got my preliminary load sheet now. So that says that our limiting weight is landing weight with 2,126 kilograms. We're expecting 108 passengers. Takeoff fuel 6.6 approximately. That is all checked. Load. And execute. Wonderful. Descent forecast will load as well. And execute. Alright, go to climb page. This one looks good. Cruise. pretty high cruise, but that looks all good. And descent doesn't really matter. Then we go along. Progress is our next. Distance 353. Flight plan says 358, which is checked with 4.5 extra. Flight plan says 3.8, which is perfectly fine. Alright, Tampa cruise is a relatively long, but it's pretty sufficient. It's alright. Fixed info. Okay, so you needed to return to runway 31.
Hello.
We'll do the localizer 31, which is IPZV. And the engine out is 314 at 15 miles. Then we're gonna go ahead and do route 2.
Good afternoon.
With the localizer 31. Legs page. And then we're gonna go
Good afternoon.
IPZV 314 at 15. Insert that there. Hold, next hold, copy, insert.
Please.
And that is our route 2. Go back to route 1, which is active, and init page,
Wait, please.
which is checked. We should be able to, technically speaking, copy this, put it in the fix info. Alright, that works, nice. And then we'll go back to route 1, init ref,
Wait, please.
and that is done. Now our pre-flight procedures. Checked.
Good afternoon.
All checks out.
Welcome on board.
Level 400. Landing elevation is 550. Today's an even day. Alright, first officer's flow. This is checked.
Welcome on board.
Our minimum is going to be 600 feet for the localizer 31.
Good afternoon.
Glide slope. Pull up.
No VSPs, TCAS off.
Wind
Is
shear.
checked.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
This way, please. This way, please.
Alright, for the localizer 1085.
Hello.
And I believe the Guardia is 1084. And then a course of 316.
Good afternoon.
Okay, it isn't 184. I need to double check that. Then Guardia is 113.1, of course. My bad. So 113.1. Now set is tuned, and we should see the ident here momentarily. Alright, the ADF's not required. Everything else looks good. That checks. 2737 is set. Is set to auto. Off to above 1 It's checked 0. That is all checked and fine. Data is set for the tower because we're going to be using CTAF. Tower frequency is on 1187, so we'll pre-select 1187 here.
Please.
Perfect. Alright, cool.
This way, please.
So the Guardia is identified, which is checked. Now captain's flow.
Hello? Good afternoon. This way, please.
Unfortunately, with the Boris sound pack, the oxygen mask no longer works. With the PMDG default sounds, it works, where you can hear the oxygen test through the microphone. But that's unfortunate, honestly, that Boris had to break that. Not a fan of the Boris click spots either. They all sound the same, in my opinion. I do prefer the PMDG knobs and push buttons and switches sounds more, but I do prefer the Boris engine sounds more, and the overall environment as well. I do prefer from Boris. So I think, funny enough, I think the easy stuff Boris doesn't do a good job with, and the not so easy stuff Boris does do better. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. All right, let's tune those. Let's tune those. And that's checked and set. Do a TCAS test.
Good afternoon.
Pattern looks good.
TCAS test. Pass.
And pre-flight checklist. Oxygen tested 100%. Navigation transfer and display switches. Normal auto. Window heat on. Pressurization. Most electric auto flight instruments. Track 055055. Altimeters 282 within 40 feet. Parking brake is set and engine start levers are idle. Cut off. In this case, cut off. Pre-flight check is complete. So we'll just wait for boarding to complete, and then we'll do the departure briefing, get IFR clearance if ATC is online, which I don't think it is today. And at least it isn't right now. And so yeah, we'll see you then.
Good afternoon.
Alright, so we just got our load sheet, our final one. And it is in compliance with, so we're going to go ahead and verify all that. And we're going to go down here. In fact, we're going to go like this. We're going to get the tablet. And our zero fuel weight is 49.1 is checked. Right, it's 49. And the rest checks out, giving us a takeoff weight of about 55.7. But we're going to calculate like so. Let's see what it gives us. Flaps 1, I'm okay with. That's fine. Takeoff 2, 47. Trim 5.5, 127, 128, 131 is checked. So let's go. Takeoff 2. Zoom temperature 47. 82.7, 82. That's about right, considering packs on and stuff. Flaps 1. DG set. And we're going to set the engine out acceleration to 1500 as well. And then 128 within 1 knot is checked. 128, 131. Progress pager, double check everything, looking good. Alright, nice. So 131 in here. Auto throttle can be armed. And we need to get clearance, which nobody's online, so 10,000 feet, squawk 2737 is set, and no SID is checked, which I am happy with. Wonderful. All-nav VNAV will not engage since there is no RNAV departure. It's all going to be vectored. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and welcome the passengers on board. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start the APU. Alright, so the 3 minutes are over. We can go ahead and apply the APU bleed in the packs. What we'll do is double check that ATC is not online, which it looks like it isn't. Wonderful. So we'll go ahead and request pushback from GSX. Nope, that's checked. So we're clear to pressurize.
Hello,
trim. It's 5.5. So before start checklist. Flight deck door closed and locked. MCP V2131 heading 314 altitude 10,000. Takeoff speeds V1 128 128 131. CDU pre-flight completed. Rudder and aileron trim free and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Anti-collision light is on before start checklist complete. Oops. I did not mean to do that.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Oh. Running 2. Running 1. Started cutout, valve closed.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Ops 1.
Left is clear.
A control
Right
check.
is clear.
Pull up. Pull down. Full left. Full right. Rudder. Full left. And full right. And signal given. Cleared the lower ICAS. And then once we're actually clear of the ground personnel, we'll do the before taxi checklist. Alright, looks like he's moving away. So before taxi checklist. Generators on, probeat on, anti-ice off, isolation map auto, engine start switches, continuous recall, checked, auto brake, RTO, engine start levers, auto detent, flight controls, checked, ground equipment is clear. Before taxi checklist completed. We need to go to CTAF. Let's go ahead and start the taxi. Alright, we're clear to line up. Cruise for departure. Alright, so clear for takeoff. Lights, camera, and by the way, this airport is very bumpy, so if it looks like I have no control, that's probably because the airport. is not giving me any control. Stable. Toga. ADD-ONS is checked. For example, that bump right there. All these little bumps. Rotate.
Pause to bring.
Here's coming up. Alright, acceleration altitude, level change. Fitty. Flaps up, speed check, flaps up. And after takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds on, packs auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist complete. And there we are, pretty much reaching the top of the descent now. We're going to go ahead and plan for it. We're just going to check 87 miles, and our total distance to go is 206, which means our descent is about 120-ish, which is pretty good for 400. That seems to be pretty efficient. Next, we're going to go ahead and go to Data Link and get some weather information. And while we wait, we're going to go ahead and do recall. We just checked. We're landing en route. Import runway, we're taking runway 06 right, I believe. Alright, so altimeter 29071, full pre-flight. So 06 right, 52, that's checked. And that's also a double check. Let's go auto brake 3, calculate. And I'm looking at the charts. Execute transition level is 180 is checked, cabin altitude 249 is checked, cabin rate, sorry. This is also good to go. We're going to go ahead and copy this, insert it in here. We're going to do 20 and 15. Progress is checked as well, and I'm happy with that so far. We're going to go ahead and pre-select 17,000. Auto brake 3. Recall check, landing elevation is set. And our minimums is 738. Almost fitting. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do the approach briefing. And then do the descent checklist, and we'll see you guys on the approach. Alright, landing checklist. Engine start switches, continuous speed brake arm, landing gear down, 3 green, flaps, 30 green light, landing checklist complete.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
One 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Spoilers, reverse green. knots, reverse idle, auto brake disarmed, start the chrono, reverser stowed.
Boarding requested.
All right, shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps off, probe heat off, hydraulic panel set, flaps up, parking brake set, engine start levers cut off, weather radar is off, shutdown checklist completed. And with that, the flight is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day, and Peace.